And a Fox News alert now, President Trump tweeting on the situation in Charlottesville, and I will quote, "We all must be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There is no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one." Kristen Fisher covering that just moments ago. We want to go more in depth now. Michael Starr Hopkins is a Democratic strategist, and Evan Siegfried is a GOP strategist and the author of GOP GPS. All right, first of all, let's just talk about Donald Trump's tweets, because he got a lot of criticism early on in his campaign because he took a while to disavow and to condemn David Duke. Let's be very clear. Donald Trump does not support David Duke. David Duke is crazy. Okay, I just want to read, Kristen just touched on this, but David Duke actually tweeted to Donald Trump in response to his tweet about "we all must be united," etc. "I would recommend you take a good look in the mirror and remember it was white Americans who put you in the presidency, not radical leftists. So after decades of white Americans rather, being targeted for discriminated and anti-white hatred, we come together as a people and you attack us." What is he talking about? The president is not attacking any one group here, whether it's if it's alt-left or alt-right, the Antifa. Basically the hate from both sides is not condemned by this White House. What more does the president need to say or do in order to try to fix this?
I think that the president needs to be even more forceful. During the campaign, he used a lot of code language when he talked about making America great again, talking about taking our country back, language that harkens back to Nixon's Southern strategy, language that brings a lot of anxiety and nervousness, especially in the black and brown community, because those words were used to justify things like segregation and unfair treatment. So I think the president needs to be more forceful and come out and say that, we are one country and that we're not going to tolerate discrimination of any form in the government.
And he did do that in his tweet today about talking about all and using the word all in all caps. What more can the president do?
Well, there are certain moments where the President of the United States, no matter who they are, needs to come out and be the moral authority and set the tone of how the country should react to situations such as this. His tweet was a great start, and I expect when we see him around 3 o'clock, he's going to do more, and he's going to go further. He needs to say what the alt-right is. They are un-American. They do not hold American values. When you see those alt-right protesters out there, they're not carrying American flags. They're carrying the stars and bars and the swastika. I have never seen the swastika be valued as anything American. I think that we also have to see the president come out and condemn Antifa. I haven't heard Democrats condemn Antifa either, because they go there and their entire MO is to provoke violence and violent clashes with the extreme right. They have a symbiotic relationship because they love to fight one another and cause havoc like this.
And let's just be clear here, the alt-left does the same thing. They come out and their message is basically to disrupt and to act violently. It's not a rational behavior.
I have to push back a little bit on that, because what we would say the alt-left isn't the functional...
I can't stand, first of all, the consideration of alt-left versus alt-right. As far as I'm concerned, they're racist. So let's just call it for what it is.
True, but there's a historical significance behind what we're seeing with the white supremacists and with David Duke. There's a history behind what they're saying and what they're doing.
Okay.
And so I think that especially the African-American community, what black and brown people are saying, that it's not okay to just call this out today. Every day we have to be actively calling out members of both parties who are encouraging this kind of behavior. When Republicans use language that is incendiary, then we need people like Paul Ryan not to dodge questions, but to actually take it head on and say,
Paul Ryan came out very strongly today.
And
he hasn't previously. And
he hasn't throughout the last couple of weeks.
The myth that has been put out today is that the right never came out and attacked the alt-right. I'm a member of the right, and many friends of mine and I received death threats from the alt-right in the summer of last year, and we came out very hard. Additionally, when you look at the Antifa, your former vice presidential nominee, his son is a member of that and was arrested for his role in inciting violence in a March 2017
But what we're talking about is the modern-day Ku Klux Klan. There is no
what I'm
functional
explaining to you is that we have a moral authority on both sides of the aisle to call out hate, be it on the left and the right, and it's very hard for us to come together when the left is saying that they have the moral high ground here over the right, when they won't even call out their extremists who engage in violent acts. Mind you, Tim Kaine's son, your vice presidential nominee in 2016, engaged in violence against alt-right protesters in March in Minnesota. And he's criminally charged.
We have a president of the United States who, during the campaign season, talked about Black Lives Matter supporters being beat up.
All right, we gotta go.
So
I appreciate you both, and that was, I mean, first of all, it shouldn't be a political movement. It's not. It's not. I mean,
a matter of faith.
And it's not fair for either side to be tied into this, because they don't represent Democrats. They don't represent Republicans. They represent extremists. All right, we have to go. Sorry. Michael Starr, Hopkins, very much. Thank you very much, and Evan Siegfried. Great to see you both.